Good morning, it is October 30. I have made a complete circle around the state of Nevada and I am back in the Lake Tahoe area. I am at Van Sickle by State Park today they have various trails here, all interconnected, so we'll see exactly where I go. But it is cold. It is so cold. This morning was -5 Celsius. Yesterday morning was -10 Celsius. And you know that I sleep in my car. So I'm becoming a really tough girl. 4 more hikes and I'll be heading home. So I think I'm gonna get there just in time before the weather turns too bitterly cold. Anyway, let's see what this park is all about. I think it's supposed to be about 3 miles, this area, this park. So, looks lovely already. I just love these scattered boulders. So fun. I'm surprised with how many people I've seen already. These guys are tough. Thankfully, this park was a good half hour, 45 minutes from where I'm camping at Washoe Lake. So I was able to just hop in my car and get warm and then eat breakfast in this park. So that sure helped. Once again, I'm very grateful for the All Trails map and keeping me on track, because there was 2 different paths I could have gone down and there was no signage. So yeah, All Trails is invaluable to me. They carved out steps in this boulder. That's amazing. Okay, continuing on with the hike through the Bible. After Israel conquered Jericho and Ai, the inhabitants of Gibeon pretended that they were ambassadors from far away. They took old sacks and old wine skins, old and patched sandals, and wearing old garments, and their bread was dry and moldy. They came to the camp of Joshua and said, "We have come from a faraway country. Now therefore make a covenant with us." They had heard about God and how he had delivered Israel from Egypt and how he had helped them conquer the land. And so now they offered themselves up to be their servants. Oh, gotta go up the Vista Trail. That is quite a climb, but I'm sure it's worth it. A little bit tricky. Okay, the first glimpse of Tahoe, Lake Tahoe. And it looks like there's a forest fire. There was one when I was here like a month ago. Well, at first Joshua was skeptical of these guys from Gibeon, but once again he did not seek counsel from God. So he made peace with them and made a covenant with them to let them live, and the rulers of the congregation swore to them. But at the end of 3 days, they heard that these guys were actually their neighbors and dwelt near them. Israel repeated the same error as after the Battle of Jericho. Without divine eyesight to recognize the deception, Joshua had unknowingly made peace with his enemies, the enemies of God. Oh, this is pretty, eh? It's opened up a bit. And we got some fall colors. Nice. But they could not attack them because they had sworn to them by using the name of the Lord God of Israel. So the rulers said, "We will let them live, but they will be woodcutters and water carriers for the congregation." And then Joshua asked them why they did that. And they responded with, "We heard the Lord told his servant Moses that he would give you all the land of Canaan, and we were afraid for our lives. And now we are in your hands. Do with us as seems right and good to do to us." This is an important example of remaining true to one's word, even at the prospect of personal loss. Israel's covenant of peace with the Gibeonites had not violated the divine command to destroy the idolatrous Canaanites, since the Gibeonites had promised to renounce their idolatry and to serve the Lord, and thus there was no legitimate reason for them to change their oath to let the Gibeonites live. I am in search of a waterfall, and it says it's this way. Yeah, quarter more mile. Well, there's Lake Tahoe again, and some high rises of South Lake Tahoe. I can hear it. Oh yeah, it's even got icicles. I told you it was cold out. So that way leads to the Tahoe Rim Trail, and I do not want to do the Tahoe Rim Trail, so I'll be going back. Yeah, this waterfall trail was a bit of a bonus footage for you because it's not on the main trail that I want to do. I'm doing the Cal Neva Loop Trail, it's called. So in other words, I'll be hiking in California and Nevada at the same time, or in the same walk. This Gibeon story, like the story of Rahab, illustrates God's desire for the salvation of the heathen. There are parallels between these two stories, if you will recall Rahab's story. Both Rahab and the Gibeonites were liars. But being heathen and not Christian, they probably didn't even know that it was bad to be a liar. Both, in the midst of their idolatry and moral flaws, had heard of the mighty acts of Israel's God. Both were willing to leave their ties with their countrymen and join with God's people. And God brought them into the midst of the people of Israel. God can bring good out of even apparent failure and disaster as his people trust in him. Israel gained loyal allies in the Gibeonites. To be called woodcutters and water carriers is a phrase used to describe household servants. The Gibeonites had taken the garb of poverty for the purpose of deception, and such garb was theirs to wear as a badge of their perpetual servitude. However, this curse became a blessing, for the menial service was to be done for the house of the Lord, which gave the Gibeonites a special place near the presence of God. This is a big log. Oh my, a chairlift. Interesting. The later history of Gibeon reveals the high religious privilege eventually afforded to this city and demonstrates their loyalty in remaining among God's people. Well, anyway, the other kings of the area heard how Gibeon got on Israel's good side, so they decided to band together and go to war against Gibeon. Gibeon put out an SOS to Israel, and Israel, of course, responded. God said to Joshua, "Do not fear them, for I have delivered them into your hand. Not a man of them shall stand before you." first, God sent down large hailstones, and more men were killed from the hail than from the sword. Oh, it looks like I'm coming to those nice grove of colorful trees. Then Joshua realized he needed more time to finish the job. So God had the sun and moon stand still till all the enemies were slain. It was probably a whole day longer. How amazing that God would put the whole universe on pause for his children. Oh, some muddy sections. The lengthening of the day not only provided additional time for the destruction of the enemies of Israel, it also was a signal demonstration of the power of Israel's God. It showed that the very gods whom the heathen worshipped were powerless against the true God. They worshipped the Canaanite god Baal and the goddess Ashtoreth. Both the sun and moon whom they worshipped were shown to be subservient to the command of Joshua under the direction of Israel's God, Jehovah. Okay, that pile of rocks there was the Vista Trail, so we've completed our loop. The healing hiker rating for this Van Sickle Bi-State Park trail system is a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoy the big boulders, and this time of year was lovely, and there was some people, but not obnoxious. So what God do you want to serve? The one who forgives and listens to your pleas for help, or the inanimate gods who are powerless to save? What is preventing you from giving your life to God?